Jamie here. Welcome to my very first episode of Jamie's Guitar News and Reviews. I thought I'd start my first video with just a little bit of background. So if you don't want to hear my story, you can just go on to the next video and watch the next review. But this is the very first guitar that I ever, serious guitar. When I was about 12, 13 years old, I had a Stella guitar that cost $28 at Willis Music and made my fingers bleed. But you know what happened is I stuck to it, and my mom took notice. And she took me down to Willis Music in Cincinnati, Ohio, and spent a crazy amount of money for back then, $500, for this Martin D28 1962 with Brazilian rosewood. This thing is just, if you know guitars, you know. And it's just an absolute thing of beauty, and it has an enormous place in my heart because my mom took a lot of flack for buying. This would be like the equivalent of your kid turning 16 years old and buying him a Rolls Royce. So she took a lot of flack, even though I came from a musical family. My grandfather came over from Germany, and some bad things happened there in the 30s, early 40s. You may have read about it in your history books. So he played 33 years with the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, violin, and did some second chair stuff. So he did really well with the symphony. My dad played tenor sax and clarinet, and he always liked to say that he played for not the Army Jazz Band, but the Army Jazz Band. And but you know, then he got married, had kids, and got a job, you know, etc. Etc. So it was kind of interesting because, you know, my grandfather he lived with us most of my life. And so Grandpa didn't really care a whole lot for Dad's music, jazz. And, you know, my dad wasn't really open to my music, you know, rock and folk and, you know, country rock or whatever you want to call it, classic rock. And so, although he did like, what was that song? Up and Away in My Beautiful Balloon. For some reason, my dad really liked that song. Yeah, music, right? So anyway, so that started my journey. And, you know, when I was like, you know, 17, 18, 19, I'd do like coffee houses and things. I did The Blind Lemon. And if you're old enough to remember a place called Zeno's, I did that for a while. And then, you know, like my dad, you know, got a job, you know, got married, et cetera, et cetera. I actually got married 4 times. So after your 4th marriage fails, you like to, you know, you start to realize that maybe you're the asshole. Yeah, I think that could be true. And so anyway, I just kept this guitar around and would play every once in a while to, you know, annoy, you know, my dog and whoever I was married to. And so then, you know, flash forward, and I'm now 69 years old, and I had major spinal surgery a number of months ago, and it really sort of changed my perspective on things and made me start thinking about what was important in life. And so instead of putting money into this thing or that thing or, you know, remodeling, I just, you know what, I wanted to start a guitar collection. And so that's why I'm here, and that's what this is all about. I've always loved this instrument, but I've always loved going to the guitar stores and you know, playing other instruments. So I decided to spend some money on myself. Damn. And now I've gotten about 20 guitars. So in the process of searching for guitars from all over the world, and by the way, some of the very best guitars I have are from China. And you can get junk from China. You can get stuff that's better than Martin or Taylor or Gibson. You absolutely can. And if you know where to look. And you might have to sort through a lot of junk. But anyway, so I felt like, you know, I learned a lot in building this collection. And I see a lot of YouTubers doing their thing. There's a great guy in, what is it, the Singapore kid? I can't think of, yeah, I think that's it. I like him. And there's a lot of YouTubers who do guitar reviews that I really like. And I felt like I had something to say. and maybe a different perspective. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to dive into it and review some guitars. This again is my Martin D28 that my mom got for me. I sent it during COVID back to Martin in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and just said, fully recondition it, whatever it needs, blah, 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 do it. And they did. It was $1,600, which is, a lot of guitars I'm going to review don't cost that much. But this guitar is, any old Martin that's in really good shape. If you look online, you'll find out that they're considered, vintage collectibles, and the wood opens up more and more over the years. And this one is actually made with Brazilian rosewood, and that's now banned, because they harvested too much Brazilian rosewood. You can get it, but it's crazy expensive. Like Chris Martin of Martin Guitar has made some anniversary guitars that are like $50,000. It's just nuts. And so they tend to, like a violin, Stradivarius, it's the Stradivarius of guitars. But listen to this tone. I mean, it's just a beautiful deep bridge. And then playing. Listen how beautiful, deep. The resonance is still going. So anyway, you might get the idea that I'm passionate about acoustic guitars. Don't know the electric world well at all. So that's my introductory. And hopefully you understand a little bit where I'm coming from. And I'm real anxious to, review some guitars and share some information. Literally everybody out there, well, not literally, but most of the YouTubers out there that could do guitar reviews, acoustic guitar reviews, have forgotten more than I know at this point. So if you're one of those peoples, do me a favor, leave some comments, leave me feedback about mistakes that I'm making, mics you might suggest, better lighting, whatever. And I'm just having fun. No guitar company is going to send me a guitar and get a favorable review. Ain't happening. I've bought all of these guitars, and I don't really care about monetizing this channel. That's not why I'm doing it. So I'm really just here to interact with other, guitar lovers and enthusiasts. And Mom bought me this guitar, and I love guitars, and I hope that comes through. And I hope you'll watch this and then tune in. Oh, actually, my other channel, another channel. One of the things about buying great guitars, and this is probably true of other products too that people interact with, is it can inspire you to use those. I hadn't written any songs since I was a kid, but some of these guitars that I've purchased have made me want to write again. And I have. I've written like 3 or 4 songs that I feel really good about. But more importantly, it's just a great way to get your emotions out and get the feeling out and to dive into some creativity, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And so if you're as passionate about guitars as I am, I hope you'll tune into that YouTube channel. And that's Jamie's Tiny Kitchen Concerts. So just search Jamie's Tiny Kitchen Concerts. I'll leave a link down below. And I'm looking forward to this journey. See y'all.